Peace, family. Conjurequeen here, and I want to talk a little bit about a very personal topic. And I noticed that a lot of people ask me this question dealing with like mental illness, mental health, and spirituality. And some people say Conjure Queen, I know someone who's suffering from like schizophrenia or like any type of like mental illness. And some people say, how do you know if you're suffering from like a mental illness, or if these are actually spiritual gifts that you are encountering? So this is what I want to say about that. And the reason why I said this is a little personal is because I know someone very close to me, very dear, who quote unquote has been diagnosed with having a mental illness such as schizophrenia, right? And a few other things. But the interesting about this person that I'm very close to is that the doctors, they automatically labeled her as, schizophrenic, because she was hearing voices and seeing things that other people couldn't see, other people couldn't hear. And then, as I speak to this person, I know that this person is very powerful and very spiritual, and they actually can see beyond the physical realm. However, we have to realize that in ancient times, the Native Americans, the indigenous tribes, they believed that when a child ever showed um, these signs that are now called schizophrenia, it wasn't called that before. Like, they wasn't labeled as crazy. They didn't have, insane asylums or crazy houses back then. These children who demonstrated these quote unquote mental illnesses, or let's just say these mental unique abilities, right? The shamans would take these young ones in and train them to utilize these gifts, okay? Because think about it, like, it's only a few people who have these gifts, and these people were always trained and brought up to become shamans, to become healers, because they can see beyond the physical realm, the realm that a lot of people cannot see. So as history went on, colonizers came, and they couldn't really understand these gifts. They couldn't understand why, why these people see things that are not there. Why they worshiping trees and worshiping, dirt and rocks. Like, this stuff is, these people are savages. That's what they called us. They called us savages because their level of understanding was different from ours. And so what happened is, as the medical field began to develop or grow, they started to label these people who had these same shamanic abilities or magical gifts. They labeled them as crazy, and instead of them, now that these people who have these gifts are locked away and thrown into insane asylums and they're being drugged up. Think about it. Like, whenever you go to a psychiatrist, or a shrink or whatever, the first thing that they do is they just want to give you medication. They want to keep you as drugged up as possible. And I hate to say this, because like, this is what they did to this person that's very close to me, who they diagnosed as having schizophrenia. They drugged her up so freaking much, where it was so bad that it was like she was a walking zombie. It was like, it suppressed her gifts, but it was like she wasn't who she was. Like, it changed her personality. It changed who she was. Like, she didn't have that vibrant energy that she once had. She didn't have that joy, that life in her. It was like whatever they was injecting her with was like sucking the life out of her and making her become something that she's not. And she didn't like it. She hated those medications. So imagine what they do to a lot of the patients in these mental clinics, in these mental places. They force them to take medications, right? They check your mouth, make sure you take the pill. Like, it's a lot of crazy stuff that goes on. And anybody who has any type of family members or loved ones who has gone through, going into a mental institution, or challenged with, like, been labeled with these mental disabilities or whatever, like, trust me, I feel you. And it's one thing when you're going through it, then it's another thing when your loved ones is going through it, because in your heart you know that there's nothing wrong with this person, but society looks at them sideways like, nah, they bugging, oh, they tripping, like, they crazy. And I don't like that word crazy because it's like really, who's to say what crazy really is? Who's to say what insane really is? Like based upon whose paradigm, based upon whose definition. You feel me? Like it's really all perspective. Because just like when the colonizers came and they told the Native Americans that they were crazy and they were savages for worshiping the land and talking to trees and building relationship with the animals, you know, the Native Americans could have said the same thing about the colonizers. Like, well, you're crazy because you destroy your land, you burn down trees, you know, you chop trees down to make homes, and then, you know, like it's a whole bunch of craziness. So it could be looked at in both ways. But I go to say this, you know, before you be quick to judge someone or label somebody crazy, you know, be careful of what you do and who you disrespect on the mundane world, because you never know that person's level in the spiritual realm. A lot of these people that has been locked up in crazy houses and drugged up with all of these type of depression pills and stuff, like I'm telling you, these people are powerful, and society doesn't want them to grow, and society knows that they're a threat. So this is why they created an institution or a system to keep them in prison and keep them drugged up, so that way they won't be able to speak out. They created such a stigma, and you know, the media, pop culture, that says like, you know, schizophrenia, like schizo, crazy, like automatically you start to label these people and you distance yourself from them. Like even certain family members will treat this member, you know, this quote unquote diagnosed child differently because they have gifts. And this is the reason why, you know, a lot of kids with spiritual abilities and gifts are afraid to come out and speak out and say what they see, what they feel, what they know, because they know that at the end of the day, they're going to be locked up away. They don't want to be locked away. They don't want to be sent away to a crazy house, right? So you just got to be cautious of that. And just be mindful that the society that we live in, it is a spiritual war. And this is the reason why they killed off all of the ancestors and they burnt all of the books and they pretty much destroyed the wisdom and the knowledge, because they figured if the elders are not here to tell the youth about the truth about their spiritual gifts, and there's no more shamans to teach them, and if they could ban, you know, indigenous spirituality, then they automatically have control. They'll teach the children what they want to teach them in their own schools. They'll force their own religions onto them and make them hate their own. And then here we are, you know, years down the line, now we don't know who we are, and there's an identity crisis. But the good thing is a lot of us are waking up, and there's many of us, the real ones, that are out here, you know, spreading light and sharing the knowledge and the truth, to doing YouTube videos, going out speaking to people. Like there's many of us that, well, there's few of us out here, you know, that are awakening the masses. And one thing that I would say is make sure that you guys are supporting and you guys are sharing the message, because a lot of the real ones are putting their lives on the line. And like I said before, there's a lot of agents out here that's trying to make a mockery of the truth. So you have to see with your third eye, like in that movie Bird Box. You got to see with your third eye who's real and who's not. And I'm basically telling y'all, everybody that's fake is getting exposed. They've been getting exposed in 2018, 2017, and like this year is really going to be the year where that veil is going to be snatched all the way off. So be prepared for that change. But listen, you know, I don't want to hold you guys too long. I will say this: before you automatically deem somebody crazy, really look into like why are they being labeled crazy. You know, like really understand the history behind the whole medical field. Who's in control of making these medications that drug up these people? You know, like who, like it's just a whole lot of stuff that gets me irritated, because can you imagine that all of the people that's locked up in the crazy house, like wouldn't you imagine that? What if I told you that all of them are potential shamans? What if all of them are potential healers? All of them are potential oracles, but because they've been scratched off and labeled as crazy, they never really got a chance to fulfill their true potential, because these doctors been shooting them up with vaccinations and all types of medications that kept them drugged up, dumbed down, and just stupid. You get me? Like this is the reason why they target a lot of young children when they're young. Like if a child is really energetic or happy or excited, they tell the mother, oh no, you got to give this child Ritalin, or you got to get this child this medication. And then what you're doing is you're poisoning your children. You are taking away their spiritual gifts. Okay, so don't be so quick to believe everything that a doctor says. I would say get a second and a third opinion. And you as a parent, you should know that, you know what I'm saying, like what's best for your child. But before you automatically just throw, give the doctor or whatever the key to give your child whatever, any shot, any medication to drug them up, like really ask yourself, ask spirit, what is the right decision here? You feel me? Consult with a spiritualist. And I'm not trying to tell you, people tell people that, okay, everybody who has a mental illness should be a shaman. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that we used to handle this way differently back in the day. The ancestors knew how to handle this. The ancestors knew remedies and ways to make this gift work. But now we see it as a curse. And remember, the mind is all. So if you see something as being a curse, then that's how you're going to look at life. Like, oh my God, I'm cursed. Oh my God, I'm retarded. Oh my God, I'm crazy. And if everybody's telling you you're crazy since you're a little kid growing up, you're going to start to believe it, right? The subconscious mind. It absorbs whatever it is that is being told. If your mom is telling you that, your daddy telling you that, your teacher's telling you that, your peers are telling you you're crazy, then you're going to start to believe that. But we gotta break that cycle, and I feel like that cycle, it starts with us, and we gotta break it, and we gotta save our babies from these evil, sinister people that's really just trying to strip their powers away, because they already know what time it is. And the true light bearers, the indigos, the crystal children, the healers, the shamans are here with us now, and they're trying to catch the babies while they're in the womb. So they're giving you these vaccinations so that way you can block your baby's third eye, and they won't even reach their true potential before, even after they're born. So I'm just putting this out there. I hope that this video is able to upload, because there's been times when I try to upload videos and they will not upload. But anyway, family, just share this with as many people as possible before they take it down or they start glitching it out like they do most of my videos. But yeah, anywho, let me know what you think. Drop your comments down in the comment section. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you have resonated with this video in any way. If you agree, and also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Until next time, Conjurequeen signing out. Peace.